Good morning, everybody. It's been a while since I've been on, but been working on a new project. And so I wanted to share that with everyone because it doesn't seem that there's a lot out there about this, Status Pro Advanced, in combination with Digital Diamond Baseball. So if you're not familiar with either one of these, hopefully this video will help show a little bit of that off. I'll try not to, show too much that's gonna get me in trouble with the cash from Derek and them who put this out. But I do want to show at least the screens. I won't show the charts. I'll do those off camera. But at least I can show the game and how it works and basically how I use it. Just as with any other C&D game, cards and dice game out there, everybody has their homebrew things and their way of doing certain things. So you can see my way of doing things. I also want to apologize if I sound stuffy because I have tested positive for the flu. So I feel a little bit crappy, but I really wanted to get this out there. So let's jump in. Let me pop this like this, and hopefully this is showing well. I guess I'll see when I see the recording afterwards. But as you can see on my screen, um, this is my 1981 replay. I'm on April 13th, and you can see I'm kind of in the middle of that day. I play each of these games out. The great thing about Digital Diamond itself is that it gives you if you do as played replays like I do, it gives you all the players. I mean, it gives you all the lineups and everything in the pitching, and so you don't have to think about anything. Just hit play ball and go at it. So that's really nice. So that's the Digital Diamond piece of it. And obviously, and I'll show this in a little bit, it keeps all the stats and standings and everything for you. So this is basically an all-encompassing program to allow you to keep everything. So the great thing is it's integrated with Status Pro, and you can use Status Pro Basic, you can use Status Pro with splits, which means left right, or you can use the advanced, which I just started using. To utilize the Status Pro Advanced, you have to email Derek Beckner, who is the guru who creates the files for advanced. And I believe it's like 20 as of this recording. I think it's like I don't remember the amount, so I'm not going to put it out. It's not expensive. It's less than $25 for a season. And again, he sends you the files. You put them in the location. He gives you a README. You put those in that location, and boom, you're ready to go and start playing advanced. You also get a PDF with all the rules and the charts. So there's nothing you need. It's all right there encompassed together. So for me, just looking at my tabletop, I have a base stealing chart out. I have the CD chart, which is a clutch defense chart for those not familiar with Status Pro. I have an error chart that I use, a Z chart, which is kind of their special plays. And then I have a base running advancement chart, but I've noticed with advanced, you really don't need it. It's in the fast action cards, but I keep it out just in case. And then I have I think I said, I have my Z chart out. So you still have a lot of charts that you have to use or go to, but there is a lot built into this as well. And I'll show it as I do a game. So let's just jump right in. I do want to mention, just for fun, last night, Tommy John, the 38-year-old, as you can see here, right here, Tommy threw a no-hitter in this game against the Blue Jays. First no-hitter I've had in a long time, probably back to when I was in payoff pitch. I think I had a couple no-hitters in my 1986 replay. But he threw a no-hitter here, missed a perfect game by one batter in the seventh inning. Lloyd Mosby walked with 2 outs in the seventh. So Tommy could have had a perfect game. He has started out this season 2-0 now, 2 complete games, 2 shutouts. So it's 18 innings pitched. I think he's given up 3 hits, maybe 4. on the season. So the 38-year-old is off to an amazing start. As you can tell from his baseball card, he's an all-star that year, and he's heading toward that for me as well. Just a note, since I mentioned the baseball cards, because I get a lot of comments about these online, how do I do that? It's pretty simple, actually, if you go into the forum groups that they have for Digital Diamond on how to get your own photos up. My tip, or how I get my cards, is any of you who used to be collectors, you're probably looking at these cards and going, I don't remember the 1981 Tommy John looking like that. It's because I go to custom baseball cards. It's a Facebook group that has every season, it seems to be. I've yet to find one they don't. And they do custom baseball cards. And you can basically, like, I just type in 1981 New York Yankees, and every player comes up with a card, and I just save those off into my area on my hard drive, and they pop up. And again, there's plenty of tutorials out there from the guys from Digital Diamond on how to get those in. But that's how I do it, how I get them in. There's always been the kind of discussion, if you will, as to what cards, what Topps years or Upper Deck or whatever you're using, should you use for a replay? If you're playing 1981, should you use 1981 Topps, or should you use 1982? Because 1982 has the 1981 statistics on it. But the 1981 cards, baseball cards, are what you would have in hand going into a 1981 replay. So for me, this one was simple, basically because I really like the 1981 cards with that hat in the corner. I think that's really cool. This is not my favorite. I mean, my favorite of all time is 1975. Those colored cards were amazing. But I really like these, especially compared to 1982, which don't have anybody on this screen, but you'll see some in the game, I'm sure, because not everybody, like on the Yankees, had a 1981 card because they were traded away, or they weren't on the team yet, like a free agent that signed. So they didn't get a card. So what I did is I went and grabbed 1982 cards to replace those guys. So but every player should have a card when I get into these games. So let's jump into my next game, which is the Pirates with John Candelaria going. It looks like it's his first start against Steve Carlton, who's already gone once and got clobbered, 11.57 ERA. So he got hit pretty good. But of course, he's Steve Carlton. The Phillies are 1-1, and I'm sorry, the Pirates are 1-1. The Phillies are off to a bad start at 0-3. So let's jump in. Oh, one last thing on the screen is you can see the logos. It's kind of the same thing with the cards. You can get tons of logos from the Digital Diamond Group and plug those in. And I just happen to use these logos for this season. So let's jump in to a game. And first thing you're going to get is the lineups. Again, this is the as played, as you can see right here, the as played lineups. So I love that. I'm an as played guy. If you're not doing an as played and you're doing a one-off, or you're doing your own lineups or whatever you're doing, you can change this all. But right now we're going to do it. The fast play button is if you're a sim guy. I don't sim. And I know there's some out there that do. I talked to somebody yesterday or this morning even, where he plays one or two games. He picks a game of the day, plays it out, and then sims the rest of them. I think that's a great idea. You know, this is all based on the time you have and the effort you want to put in and what works for you. So again, something that is fantastic about Digital Diamond, giving you that option. The only thing that I will mention on this is if you fast play, right now, although I hear there's rumors that this is going to change for Digital Diamond, right now, if you fast play, you're not using the same stat engine as Status Pro Advanced. I'm hearing that there's rumors that it will be, but right now it is not. It's a digital, I believe it's the Digital Diamond's own engine. So for you stat geeks out there, you're mixing your engines when you do this. So just be aware of that. And again, if you don't care, you don't care. I think what's great about this in the entire community is everybody has a different way of doing everything. And go for it and have it. What matters is you have fun. So for me, I always hit play. Executing the transactions is another great thing. If you're doing as played, any transactions that might have happened before this game started are automatically created. So if the Phillies made a trade, a cut, or an injury, called somebody up from the minors, all that's going to get put into this prior to you playing. So that is another great thing about this game. But and again, I'm going to always try and separate the digital diamond piece from the Statis Pro Advanced, and that execute transactions is 100% coming from digital diamond. Okay, so again, now you're going to get a picture piece on here. So I'll go over this screen a little bit. I don't do anything with it except go straight to set lineups. But just to give kind of an overview of digital diamond, this is the pitching screen. So if you wanted to switch your pitcher, here's where you would do it. Here's your starters, and there's a way to add starters to this. But that's the starters that are available right now based on the setup in the back end that you can mess with. You can quickly auto select based on ability, based on the usage. So if Candelaria just pitched 2 days ago, you can see a 0 here. This is his pitch count. He has 104 normal that he would hit before he starts to get tired. But he's at 0. So you can tell, at least I can tell based on using this game, that he is 100% ready to go for this game, as is Steve Carlton. But if you did based on the based on usage is not that. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there. The based on usage is the usage that season. So that could switch based on your profile. If you create a managerial profile in the back end, it could be based off of that. And then based on as played, which is what we're using. You can also quickly view the pitching staff, which gives you a list of their pitchers. I always pop this down to all, so you can see these are their potential starting pitchers and all their stats. You can see how far back they pitched. You see Rick Roden and Rod Scurry have pitched yesterday in this season. You can see some of the other items down here. Today's scheduled pitcher. Based on, if you use the manager profile, it would be Eddie Solomon, but I don't. I use the as played. Here's the future as played starting pitchers. So if you want to look into the future and when their last start was, kind of interesting stuff. Profile starting pitchers again, and you can look at spot starters. All this stuff can be managed in the manager profile. So just to get out of this, which really was like weird to me in the beginning, you just click somewhere else other than on that screen. There is no closed screen on that. So that's kind of the auto select things. On here also is automatically based on your season. I'm doing 1981. I'm in the National League, so I would not use a DH, but if for some reason you were recreating 1981 with a DH, sounds like a project, you could click this and you would use a DH. So the game mode, this is, let me hit these before I hit the game mode. Managed by computer. So if you want to manage the game only and manage against the computer, here's where you would say who you want to manage. I want, maybe you want them to manage both, and just watch. Or maybe, this is again as if you're not really doing an as played replay where you're going to enter your results. This is just basically using digital diamond to play the game. So I don't use those, keep them both off. Now let's go to the game mode. There are several different options. You can see all these game engines that are on here, and this seems to continue with almost every major release of them adding more, which is fantastic. So I'll speak as intelligently as I can about this from what I know. This traditional game engine is 100% using digital diamond and not using any other influences of any C&D games out there. And you can see you can do a roll that's visible. You can hide your rolls so you don't see it on the screen, and then you can manually roll the dice on your tabletop and then enter your results. That's the traditional game engines. Now we're going to get into some of the SP is for Statis Pro. So they have a SP4 game engine. So you'd just be using that engine. You'd still not really be using, the cards will show up. And so this is really the basic for those Status Pro people out there. This is basically basic. Game engine with split cards is basically left to right. That's what I used for quite a while, the left to right version of the game, which is really cool. The board game companion. This is when you start using the results. These are all engines. So you're using Digital Diamond with an engine of Status Pro, not the cards. So I want to kind of correct myself there. You're not using the cards. When you get to the board game companion, that's when the cards will show up on the screen and be a determining factor of how you're playing the game. So let's say you got Payoff Pitch or Stratomatic or EPA or you name your game. This would be what you would use outside of Status Pro. So, and I have quite often. This is I used to use, boy, with a cold right now, I can't think. What's it called? Oh man, I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, it'll come to me later. I used to use a different tool to record all my games. But now I don't use anything but Digital Diamond to record my baseball games. It works for me. The board game companion basically just allows you'll see it when we get in here to the game, to hit pitch and then the batter and then enter your results. So if you're playing Stratomatic, you roll your dice, you get your result, base hit, you put in base hit. There is an entire board game companion manual that tells you how to put in your stuff. And another great thing about Digital Diamond is that, and I don't know how many of the games are integrated in here, but like Stratomatic, for instance, a base hit and moving like you have runner on first and you get a base hit. In Stratomatic, 2 asterisks is, I think it's Stratomatic, is you go 2 bases. So in this, it's built in. If you hit base hit, asterisk, you're going to move that runner from first to third, which I think is great. There's other ways. As you read the manual, you'll see tons of other ways to do this. But if you are a long time player of that board game, then you'll find that this makes it very easy to add that stuff. And of course, Status Pro, all the Status Pro stuff is built in here. And you're going to see that throughout here. GX4, you put in GX4, and it does the work for you, which I think is fantastic. So we'll get into that in a minute. But anyway, that's the board game companion. Now, if you want to use the basic game, like you're playing, you want the cards to show up on the screen, and you want to play the game out, but with seeing the cards on the screen, you would use this. If you want to go to the split card version, you would use this, this is what I actually use the most prior to buying advanced. But then we have advanced, and that's what I'm using now, and you'll see it. And then I haven't used this yet, but I've heard really good things about the SI, which is Sports Illustrated. This was the latest addition to add to it. So probably something, not probably, most definitely I will give it a look at this later, but I haven't done it yet. So let's jump into the advanced. And now we're going to set the lineups. And again, since I do as played, I don't do anything with this screen. But, and if you weren't doing as played, this is where you'd set your lineup. Basically, you can see here's the starting lineup for the Pirates. Here's the starting lineup for the Phillies. And this is where you flip over to the bench if you want to bring anybody in. And it's pretty simple. You click on the guy, you click on the batting number that he's at, and then once he's over here, you can switch his position to what you need. You can also load lineups from here. Let's say you've got something in your profile that's specific, like versus lefty, versus righty. You can have that here. The computer manager, so basically you're just telling the game engine, what would you use? And then as played, if you click on that, you're going to get your as played lineup, which is what I want here. There's lots of other extra stuff in here to give you statistics of, what this right now, your stats are showing you combined. What I would love for the developers to do, and they haven't done yet, and I keep asking for it, is for this, and you'll see it during the game, but they don't have it for the pregame, is to have an area here for me to click on to show my current stats of my simulation, because I don't really care that Keith Moreland hit 255 that year. I'd like to see how he's doing in my replay. So and unfortunately, to see that, and I don't even think you can do it. Yeah, you can do it here. To see that, you have to click on the player and then go up here. And now I can see how he's doing. And you can see he's had one at bat in my replay. He had 196 in real life. So I can see it here. Okay. But I could also take a look at his Statis Pro card here, which is really nice, and see that. And these are the advanced. This is the advanced game because that's what I have loaded in here. But if I wanted for some reason to see his card, I could see that too. So it's all right here by clicking on the player. But I would just like to see quickly here the stats ahead of time, because also it helps. Like if, for instance, somebody hasn't been playing much at all, and I wanted to start them, I could see that here. I can't see that without clicking on every single player. Again, since I do as played with this replay, doesn't really matter for me. You can also change you could change your starting pitcher again here if you wanted. All that stuff is here. But for me, I just jump right into play ball. And now you're going to see. Also, let me talk a lot about this screen before I get started. Let's start with the elephant in the room, the big picture. So you can load up your own pictures, and I've been playing with this a lot. You can see this is Veterans Stadium here in Philadelphia. That's where this game is. Generally, I like the ones with the fans in the seats, so probably we'll change this one. But again, you can download all these from the Digital Diamond group, and if you go to Digital Diamond Baseball, I think it is .com, you'll find the group and everything, and they have tons of great stuff out there. You can also just pull in your own from Google or other places to pop in here. So this is the one I have for now. Again, I'm not loving it, but you can change this. But that's how you get this in. And maybe I'll show at the end of the game how you get each and every one of these to line up in their position. Because when you first load in a game, they basically take all this stuff and pop it up in the corner or all over the place. And you have to take the time once you upload your new stadium photos to put the players, the positions and the batters and everything in place. It's not hard to do. It's just you got to go do it all. So that's that. Let's talk a little bit quickly. You got the cards up here. So you got the pitcher versus who's up. Obviously got your basic scoreboard up here. HM means human. So for some reason I wanted to change Pittsburgh to the CPU. I just click on it and pick what I want, but I'm not going to change it. But you could if you wanted to switch this here for some reason. I've actually, I don't remember what I was doing with some project at some point, and I let it play out to the ninth inning of games, and then I would play the ninth inning if it mattered. You could do that, but that's all that's for. The rest of this is basically basic scoreboard stuff. Up here, you got today's games. You can set this up to where you can get what's going on. As you can see, I have it disabled, but you can have an out-of-town scoreboard up there. So if you're in that replay mode where you're only playing this game and then every other game is simmed out, you would have a scoreboard up there, which is I've never used, but probably pretty cool. You see your game date, so 4/13. I have asked 1 million people what this means, this little blinking green light. Hopefully it's green on the recording, and nobody seems to know what that is. But it's green and blinking. Here we have some statistical pitching area. So you can see Carlton, his age, durability. Again, he throws about 121 pitches in his starts. Right now, he's done 0. You can see RL for real life. That's what he did in 1981. Here's my sim. He got blasted. This is his second start. It doesn't mean he has 2 starts this week. This includes today's. He went 4 2/3 inning. He got blasted for 6 runs. You can also see more stats of him if you hit that. This window comes up if you wanted to look at more. You can see down here the Carlton, the pitcher, and you can see the Pirates starting lineup across the board here. You can see their averages. You can change this, the averages and home runs, whatever you want down here. You can have their stats from that year. You can do replay stuff. You can change this up for what you want to a degree. You can change this up as to what you want. I do average and home runs, and this is again my replay totals. You also see immediately you got a pinch hit in here. So if I wanted to pinch hit for Marino, this is where I would hit the button to go. Once a runner's on base, you'll see a pinch run. You can click on that to pinch run. And then you also have your defensive pen under each logo. So if I wanted to change right now the Phillies are out in the field, I would click on this. I want a quick note on this. It brings this up. I have had this freeze on me, I would say at least once a week. And I've had to literally shut the whole game down and start over. So, and it's happened since the day I bought Digital Diamond. And I have actually another huge new machine, and it still does it on the huge new machine. That in my opinion, this is a major memory hog, Digital Diamond. And I probably don't do it any favors by adding in all these great cards and stadiums and stuff. But if it locks on you, don't worry, your game is saved up to the prior batter. So if I just had a base hit by Marino and went to the pen and it locked on me, I would lose the base hit by Marino, so you just have to re-put it in. When you reboot the game back up, it's one batter back. So just FYI if it happens to you, and nothing to freak out about. I have told them numerous times, the developer and the chat area, and basically it's pushed off as it's my machine, which it isn't. It just somehow once in a while freezes. And I've just decided, based on all the great stuff about this game, I deal with it. So anyway, up here, you can see that little real life stats. Because right now, this is what I was talking about. Now that you got the screen up, now you can flip it over and see simulated stats displayed instead of the real life stats. And I wish that was on the pregame screen. So now if I go over here, now you can see this is what they've done this season. And I wish that was available pregame. Again, don't really care for as played because I don't really use that screen. But if I'm doing anything but as played, I think that would be valuable. Anyway, so that's what that's for. You can see the upcoming batters. Anyway, if I wanted to bring in a relief pitcher, this is where I would do it. Blah, 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 blah. You'll see this, I'm quite sure, throughout the game, so I'm not going to get into it now. Over here, you've got your play-by-play window. You can change the colors on this. Right now, I have it set to, if you go to menu, you've got lots of options, and we'll get into those. But this is where you would set this. I have it set to the batting team's colors. So you're looking at black and yellow for the Pittsburgh Pirates. When the Phillies are up, you're going to see that switch. So that's that. Here, this is a basic, menu we're going to use throughout the game. Over here, you see the batting, just like the pitcher. You get the real life and the sim stats. Also, it gives you what they've done today. I think I missed to say that. Again, this is a lot of this is configurable, but this is how I play. Right now, no plate appearances yet today. And so here, now we're going to get into the cards. So, excuse me, let me take a quick drink of coffee here. Yeah, that was good. All right. So on the left-hand side, we have Steve Carlton's card. So his Status Pro Advanced card. So you can see he's a PB47. And those of you who know Status Pro, whether you know the advanced or the regular game, you'll see a lot of normal stuff that you're used to here. We'll talk about this throughout the game. In the middle, this is the fast action card that's used for Status Pro Advanced. And then to the right is, in this case, Omar Marino's card. So again, we'll get into everything in this, I'm quite sure, throughout the game. So I think the last thing I'll put is, if for some reason you needed to flip this down here, right now we're seeing the Pirates batting order because the Pirates are batting. If you wanted to, for some reason, see the Phillies batting order, you just click on their logo and up come the Phillies. And you see the pitcher's Candelaria for them. So let's flip back to the Pirates. Just wanted to show that. All right. So here's one of the things I do that I don't know if it's different or not than how other people play the game. But and I'll give my reasons for it. When it comes to the fast action cards, there is a flipping order that is, I don't know if it's suggested or just told, but you'll see how I do it. And I'll explain how I do it and why. But let's start out with the game. You have to start with pitch. You don't always have to hit this, just at the beginning of the game or any type of action in the game, like maybe a stolen base or a caught stealing, or a substitution, a new pitcher, different things like that will cause you to hit the pitch. But you don't, you generally, you're not hitting that as much. Generally, swing is what's up here. All right, so now we're going to go down to the card. So to activate the card, you just click on it. Again, what I do is, because this automatically flips without you clicking on it before the game, or I'm sorry, in between batters, I don't always click this at the start of a batter. Only the first batter of the game, and that's just because I feel like it, because I've been staring at it the whole game and it's not fair, I guess. I don't know. The only time I click on it for the batter to start. So, and you'll see how I do it. So let's click on it, and immediately we're looking at the PB rating. So for those of you who know Status Pro or Status Pro Advanced, I apologize. I'm going to do a little bit of education on Status Pro. So for those who don't know, so we got a PB5. So we're looking at the pitcher. He's a 4-7, so he covers it. This number is between 2 and 12. The advanced takes out 2 and 3 sometimes, which is interesting. And so we're looking at the pitcher's card. And this is baked in how he does against lefties and righties. So you're going to see this flip sometimes based on the batter. So we got a 5. So we're looking at the pitcher's card. So we're going to click it again to look at the RN number. So we click it, we get a 58, and you'll see it's a walk. So you can click on that to get some stats. That's a digital diamond thing. Anyway, so we had a walk. So we're gonna hit the swing and BB, and off Marino goes. All right. So you'll see now that Marino's on, I can click on him and see stats. Like maybe I want to see his stolen bases. He's still 39. He's got 1 so far this year. He's been caught once. All right. You'll see 2 different ratings on here, an A and an A minus. The A is his OBR, so it's his on base running. So that matters on base hits and stuff. His speed, an AA minus, which is fantastic. There's an AA plus, there's an A, or AA, if we're just looking at AA, AA is the top level. Then there's B, then there's AA, A, B, C, D, and E. Okay, a lot of pitchers are E's. So in those categories, you have pluses, regulars, and minus. So AA plus, AA minus. So really knocking the, having so many different levels really makes it interesting and a little bit more statistically accurate, probably. I have nothing to prove that. But so in this case, he is an AA minus. And if I want to steal him, I have to look at the base stealing chart that I have off camera. I can tell you that he, as an AA minus, there, let me back up here. There's a lot of things you look at based off the number that you're going to get. And we're going to do that. I'm going to steal him. So we're looking at a steal of second. Things that could come into play are the pitcher's hold rating. An A plus is fantastic. Of course, Carlton being the lefty. has, I hate that this happens. It keeps changing on me. But maybe I should stop clicking and just start pointing. Anyway, an A plus is it's the best rating you can have. Holding runners, and shocking Steve Carlton. Any of you ever watched him play at a great move. So this is the hold rating that Carlton has. I don't know if they've combined in the thought process of Bob Boone behind the plate, helping hold that runner. But he's an A plus. So that could come into play. And then of course there's Boone. Now this shocks me. I don't know 1981 statistically from catcher's perspective perfectly, but I know Bob Boone in the history of baseball is considered a great defensive catcher. Again, don't know his statistics of throwing out runners. I would have thought it would be pretty decent at minimum. And so the arms of the catchers are TA plus, and I'm going in order of good to bad. TA plus, TA, TB, TC, and TC minus. And as you can see, he's near the bottom with a TC. That's his error rating, and that's his clutch defense rating that we'll talk about. I'm sure we'll get into. So Boone's a pretty poor thrower in 1981. So Marino going to get held on maybe, and that may matter, but Boone is going to have a tough time throwing him out. So based on the number, the following can happen. You can get a stolen base, and then you check for an error. He could possibly throw it away. He could get, based on the number, he could get picked off, or he could get caught stealing. That's basically the numbers that are on here. Or excuse me, coffee time. Or he could not get a jump. That's the other one. So let's go ahead and click a number, get an RN, and see what happens. I can tell you the higher the number, not necessarily on the stolen base card, but generally within this game, the higher the number, the more it's going to help the defense than it is the offense. So we got an 87. Looking on the chart, this ends up with us having to deal with the catcher throw results. As I told you, he's not very good. But an 87 is so high up. These RN numbers, by the way, go from 11 to 88. So he's right on the 87. So it being a TC catcher, hopefully I'm not giving too much away here, but I want to give you an idea. A TC catcher, it throws the runner out 85 to 88. So as you can tell, Mr. Boone's not going to throw too many people out. But in this case, he just threw out Marino, 85 to 88. So off Marino. So we hit swing, even though it's not a swing. And you just put in CS for caught steal. If he was picked off, you just put in pick, P-I-C-K. If there's more than one runner on, you use R1, or R1 for runner on first, R2 for runner on second, R3 is runner on third, and R0 is the batter. And all that'll come into play if we need it later to advance runners with that screen I just had up. So now we got one out, thanks to Boone tossing Marino out. And now we got Tim Foley up. So let's continue on with the game. So, if you'll notice, now it's RN22. That's because after the result, an immediate flip happened on the PB card, or on the fast action card. This is why I don't click another one, because it automatically flips for you. So I think probably some people out there click another one, and that's okay. I don't. I go to the next card. So I got a PB9. Oh, and here's a great example. See how his PB changed? So Carlton, and I find this extremely interesting. Carlton was, at least from a PB rating, has more control over the batter's result against a right-hander than he did against the left-hander. But this game is made statistically. So I don't challenge that thought. I just find that interesting. So anyway, in this case, he is really good against right-handers, fully a right-hander, but the 9 is still outside his PB. So we're going to click the RN 62, and we're going to look at Foley's card. So 62, immediately you can see it's in the out range, 36 to 88. So now we're going to go to his CHT. This is basically RN, R for righty, left for lefty. S is for switch hitter. Now, I don't think I've noticed in this because I just started playing advanced, and I think this is really cool by the advanced engine, not even the engine, the way they did the cards. In the basic game, when you look at this online, it does say SN, SP. I think I've noticed that in the advanced game, they look at the pitcher. If he's a switch hitter, like I don't think Marino's a switch hitter. He's a lefty. But and we don't have any switch hitters on the Pirates lineup to see this, but they automatically flip it for you. So you don't have to look and figure out SN because they don't give you, there is no SN, there's no S. You only have R's, L's, and P for the pitcher. So they give you the CHT rating based on what he's doing versus this pitcher. And in basic, they don't do that. So I think that's really cool on this. I digress. So we got an RN. So we come down to RN and it's an F7. Okay. And for every out, not hits, outs, we look and see if there's an error. So we got a fly ball over to Matthews. We click on it and we look at error and it's no. So we got an F7. So now we got 2 outs. So again, Parker's up. You can see again, Carlton switched to a 4-7. It's a different card for versus lefties. And I think this is fantastic about the game, the advanced game. You get this too with the lefty righty splits. So a 3 outside his range because he's a 4-7, so he's not controlled. Dave Parker. So we're gonna look at Parker's card, and we're gonna get a 62, and that's out. So we got an LN, which is FD7, which means it's deep. Now, with this digital diamond, let's check for an error first. 9-20, he's a 4. Oh, it was FD9, wasn't it? He's at E3, so he doesn't make the error. You can put in FD7 here and fly ball deep to left. Right field, wasn't it? And it will do that. I can also just put in F9. Now, because there's nobody on base, I normally just put in F9, G6, whatever it is. I don't get into the X's and all the extra pieces. If there's somebody on, I do, and there's a reason for that. That's because the game actually does the work for you. So let's say I had a runner on third, and if I just put F9, he's probably not scoring. Unless I do, there's advanced stuff that you can do to force the runner to go. But the game engine is not going to score him. If you do FD9, a deep fly ball to right field, just about every runner is going to score from third. So and then the ground balls matter even more. So, and again, I'm sure we'll see this throughout the game. So I'm going to just leave it in there just to show you. It's going to, in the play-by-play, it says deep fly ball to right field. So again, did it matter? Those who really want their outs to show deep fly ball or regular fly ball, I guess it'll matter then. To me, no. All right, so that ended the first inning. You can see a couple things here. One, we flipped to the Phillies batting order. We got John Candelaria on the mound now. All they're out there. You saw the color switch here to white and red for the Phillies. You cannot, to my knowledge, control this. Outside of just saying the batting colors, you can't pick them. You can't say, well, I'd rather have red and white. I don't think you can go that deep in this. But I think it's cool that it picks the team colors. You know what? Now that I just said that, I think there is a screen on the master screen on the team screen that you can pick the team colors. So maybe you can do that. I digress on myself. Anyway, so here we go with the Phillies lineup. So let's just jump right in and keep playing, and hopefully enough things will come up throughout the game that I can show you more. So it automatically flipped for me to an 11 outside of Candelaria's range of a 2-5, and we've got a 55, which is an out. RN, all you're seeing is outs right now. G6, no error. So we put in G6. We're going to get a ground out folio highlight, and you could change that if you want, but I don't. And now we got Pete Rose up to the plate. And Rose gets a 12, so it'll be on his card. 57, we continue with all our outs. F9, RN is F9. Rose is a great one. Switch hitter. You can see he made him an RN because Candelaria is a lefty. I just love that. I just, because I was playing this quite a bit with Status Pro Split, not the advanced. And I would have to look at that, go SN, and then go, okay, Candelaria's a lefty. So I need RN. So I don't have to think anymore. So thank you for not making me think. So it's an RN, F9, no error on Parker. And we got 2 down. And next we got Mr. Schmidt. So far this year, Schmidt's got 1 homer, 9 at bats. He's 2 for 9. So let's see what he does here. Gets a 4, so he's going to be on Candelaria's card. He gets a 16 as his RN. And you'll notice this, G4 to G6. So these are considered, as I understand it, based on the amount of double plays that Candelaria kind of forced, if you will, or had happened behind him by his defense. And so that's why you get something special here. You will not see this in the basic versions of the game. So anyway, he fell into this with his 16. And so it's based on his side. So Schmidt's a right-hander, so he'll go G6. If he's a left-hander, he'll go G4. And double play doesn't matter here. We got to check for error. On G6, he's an E4, doesn't fall into the 12 to 20. So I got a G6. Okay, so let's keep moving on here. We're in our 2nd inning. Bill Robinson up now. So we got a 10 outside the range, 56, right on his out range, RN, F3, pops him up. I got to check the air. No air, F3. You'll see the card flip on its own there. This didn't change, but that did from a 13 to 14. So it's a new card. So good. We get to try the clutch defense out. All right. In the old versions of Status Pro back in the day when I was a kid playing, you didn't do clutch defense unless there was somebody on. There's a clutch batting, BD, and a clutch CD for the fielding. Derek, who's basically made this advanced game, has put it as part of the engine that you do use the CD regardless of somebody's on base. BD you don't, CD you do. Reasoning, you'll have to ask him. But so that's the rules. So we got a CD. So what we do is this is based off of in the basic game, you would flip a card and find out who the CD was against. In the advanced game, the batter's power comes into play, basically. So you got RN here. So RN, and here's your little CD column, and you go down to RN is the 3rd baseman is in question. So Mr. Schmidt, and these are the CD ratings. So he is a 4. So again, I am going off camera to a CD chart. Just quickly show it. I don't know if it's coming up. I don't think it's coming up. Basically, it looks like this, and I think it's not showing. So anyway, it's an orange chart, and it's based on position and then CD number. So in this case, I'm going to be looking at the excuse me, the 3rd baseman, a CD4. I will pick a new fast action card, and I get a 78. And I go down and I look. CD4 3rd baseman on a 78 is pop up behind 3rd base, drops just fair, single, runners advance 1 base, 2 bases if there's 2 outs. Well, we have nobody on, so Schmidt could get to this despite being a 4. So 1B for a single, Madlock's on. Again, the CD ratings are 0 to 5, 0 being the worst, 5 being the best. So even Schmidt couldn't get to that one. So we got Madlock on. He's a B+ for steal. I'm not going anywhere with him right now. Lee Lacy's at the plate. I could sacrifice. He's a BB. AA down is basically the pecking order. I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to let him swing away. So we got a 9 and click, and we got a 43, and he struck out. 33 to 43, he strikes out. Simple K. And we got 2 down. And here's Yogi Berra's kid. So we got a 5 and a 48. And you'll see that is a walk. So Carlton in a little trouble here. 2 out and 2 on. Now we got an 8 for Steve Nikosha. I always said his name wrong. I used to know it all the time. think that is an S. Anyway, is up and he gets an 8. So we're staying within Carlton's card and a 44. And we got a strikeout. 25 to 45 is a strikeout. That is, by the way, you can look over here and see today. This will be, he's had 1K before this batter, so now that'll be his second strikeout. Ends the inning. Got no score. So head to the bottom of the second. So here's Gary Matthews, Sarge, as he's known. He's not hitting too well this year, although, oh no, take that back. I was looking at Gary Maddox. Matthews is hitting fantastic, 5 for 8, 625. He's walked 4 times as well, so he is having a monster season already. So he got a 4 though here. He's on Candelaria's card, a 77, and he's going to be out. RP is a GX6, no error. So this again is, those of you who know Status Pro know that that X in there means basically a fielder's choice. So if there was a runner on first, guy would be out at second, he'd be safe at first, for instance. So I can put in GX6 here and it'll have no difference than a G6. Now G6 would basically be a double play. So I normally just do G6 if nobody's on, but I can put in G6, GX6, and I'm still going to get the same thing where he throws them out. FYI. So next up is Manny Trio. Trio's, hang on a second, I got to get this thing out of the way here. There we go. Trio's having a little struggle here, I'd say. 1 for 14. He only struck out once, somehow scored when he did get on, but he's struggling. So he's going to get a 5 and a 23, and he will ground out too short. So his struggles continue. 2 down. And now I got Maddox, who is also struggling at 091, 1 for 11. He gets a 10, be on his card at least. Ooh, 26. So he's got a good chance here. Yep, base hit to right field. Now, I can put in base hit F9 to go to right field if I want. Again, depends on what you're trying to track here. Or I can just put in base hit. I'll put it F9, so it does go to Parker. If I put a base hit, it might have sent it to Marino or Lacey. So it's up to you what you want to do there. So Maddox is on. Not really going to steal him. And we got Larry Boa at the plate, who Boa is hitting 100, 1 for 10. You can see some of these guys are struggling, hence the 0-3 record. All right, we got another clutch defense. So he is an RN, which is a shortstop. So Foley's only a 1. Let's see what happens here. A 52 with a 1 is, looking at the chart here, we've got can't get the grounder up the middle, a single, and a runner advances 2 bases. So again, going back to those of you who use that, or I think there's plus, there's other things you can use. Look at the digital diamond output. It tells you all the different things you can do. But you'll see this will get the runner to third. So we should have Boa, Maddox. There you go, Boa and Maddox. So Candelaria in a little trouble here in the bottom of the second, but 2 outs. Now we got Boone up, who is 0 for 8. So he gets a 7, but it's going to be on his card. A 42, and he walks 17 to 47. So now in real big trouble here, except for the fact that reason I am not a fan of old National League play. Now you got this great rally going, and here comes the pitcher. And, it just, to me, it's why you can't compare National League pitchers to American League pitchers of old, because they get to face this guy generally at least twice a game, if not more, and in key situations sometimes. In American League, yes, I get it. This is probably the shortstop. And, back in the old days, and he was probably hitting 230, 240, but he wasn't hitting 130. Not normal. So anyway, I digress. And again, so we got an 8, and it'll be on his card, and watch him get a hit here. Yep, he's going to. Yep, nothing like Status Pro to make me look stupid. Okay, so I got a double here by Carlton, and so that'll give us the ability to go look at the runner chart. You can see the runners advance 2 bases. Sometimes this will say 3. Sometimes this will say an optional or challenge. I'll get into those when we get them, but only 2 bases here. So Boone will stop at third. So I'm just simply going to put in a double. If I wanted to put all three, in the advanced three, I can put in 3 asterisks here. But so we'll get a double here by Steve Carlton, making me look really stupid after that rant. And 2 runs on the board, and it's 2-0. All right, so now I got Lonnie Smith who gets a 6 beyond his card. He gets a 24, and he gets another double into left field. Again, I'm not going to put the position where it goes, but he's going to add those 2, and Candelaria really found himself in trouble here, down 4-0. I want to show something real quick about the pitch count. So far, and this is just the engine deciding, hey, it took 3 pitches on that. It's random, but it's pretty cool. He's thrown 38 pitches already. So once he gets to probably about 85, this will turn orange. Even his card up here will turn orange. But the outside kind of border will turn orange. And then when he gets really close to 104, this turns red, letting you know it's really time to take him out, or to consider taking him out for sure. And of course, now he's giving up 4 runs. I can consider it now, but I'm not going to. So we got Pete up, and Pete's getting a 10 and a 47, and that'll be an out. RN F7, no air. So finally got out of the inning. They gave up 4, and so the Phillies are staring at their first potential win here, but it's early. All right, Carlton liking and getting some backing here. So here's Candelaria at the plate. See if he can double off of him. We got a clutch defense. Oh, I forgot to look at pitcher. His clutch defense is the center fielder, and so we got a 4. Let's look at his number. 86 against a 4 is going to be fielder makes a running catch of a deep fly on the warning track. So we could do FD8 here if we want. Nobody's on, doesn't matter. But Candelaria tried to get a double off Carlton. Maddox said, no, I don't think so. So that's 1 down. We got a 10 for Marino. 53, struck him out. That is strikeout number 3 for Carlton on the day. 2 down. Looks like Steve's having a better game here. So we got a 6 for Foley and a 53. A wild pitch. Now, nobody on in Status Pro Basic. You go to the next card. You basically redo the at-bat. This is one of the things I noticed that's different in the rules for Status Pro Advanced, and maybe it just changed overall for Status Pro Advanced or Status Pro, and I missed this, but I noticed this in the advanced rules when I read them. This, if there's nobody on, is an automatic out. Anything in the PB wild pitch area or bulk, they're an out if not applicable. So in this case, we got a wild pitch, nobody on, so it's an out. RN G1A. The A means generally that was a great play by Rose, takes it himself, then like if there was a runner on first, A advance automatically. In this case, nobody's on. Let's make sure I didn't make an error on it. 5-20. Nope, Pete's an E1. So I'm just going to do a G3. I don't need to do the G3A. And that'll end the inning, and Carlton continues on. All right, so we just keep moving along. We got a 4, this time in his range. Against Schmidt, and 85 is an RP. F5. So he pops one up over to third. Madlock has it. 1 away. Here comes Gary Matthews. And Matthews gets a clutch defense. Oh, I keep hitting that. Generally, I like to look at the same card, but it doesn't matter if you flip it. RP. We're looking at the shortstop. Again, Foley's a 1. Ooh, an 11. And that is going to be a leaping grab of a line drive, and the lead runner is doubled off. There's nobody on, but a nice grab there by Foley. Off the hot Matthews, 2 down, and up comes Trio with a 4 and a 26. A walk. Wow, he only had 1 walk on the card, and he gave it up. So Trio's on. And here comes Maddox, a 10 and a 28. That is going to be a base hit to right. So we look at the runner, base hit to right, runner on first, 1 base, runner on second, 1 base. Now, I can challenge that if I want to. Not going to, but let me show you how I would if I wanted to. That was a base hit to right. You'll notice I put base hit and then sent it to Marino instead of Parker. Now, the arms of the outfielders come into play along with the OBR rating. And it's T1 to T5, I believe. There might be T6. And if you're looking at this like I do and go, Parker's a T2, I guess in 1982 he didn't throw anybody out because my God, this guy's lifetime is a T6. He is the standard, a right fielder of throwing people out. But he must have had a bad year there. And even his air is bad. So you look at this and you look at the OBR. So just looking at another off chart, or chart off camera, I could run him from first to third on a single to right. A C against a T2 is a 64. And so, like, that's a 64. That's too weird. I would flip another card, and 11 to 64, he's safe. Anything else, he's out. Also, and now I'm going to get real deep into, not too deep. First of all, let me add, since there's 2 outs, you add 20. So 84. My God, the guy, almost guaranteed to be safe. This is where it gets into the extra things you can do as a manager. You can decide not to throw that so that Maddox doesn't advance to second. So, if you're playing the game, you think you're watching the game and base it to right field. If Parker fires all the way to third trying to get trio, Maddox can advance to second. Now, you can do what's called trailing runners on these. And so it gets a little bit more deeper. I don't go that deep generally. So in this case, I can show you something that's really cool. You might have noticed that and said, dang, I should have sent him to third. I'm going to send him to third. I'm going to show you how. You're going to undo the last play. So you undo that. And Trio's back at first. Maddox is back at the plate. Again, since there was a big change, you got to hit the pitch first. Swing, base hit. Now, what was it? 1, 2, he's a C, right fielder's 2, 11 to 84. I'm going to be realistic. Parker's not going to throw to third. He knows he's not going to get this guy. So I'm just going to let him go, basically. So ... And we got runners on first and third. Hopefully that showed that. So I showed another thing, the backup. If for some reason you made an entry error, or you saw what I just saw, wow, he would have definitely went to third on that. That's how you do that. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze, I think. Yeah. Let me take a quick coffee drink here. All right. So now we got Larry Boa. So he gets a 9 and an 85 RN, got an L5, and no error on Madlock, and they get out of it. So all that for nothing, but ends that inning, and we'll go to the fourth. Still 4-0 Phillies. So Dave Parker's up. He gets a 7. That's on Carlton's card, 48, and we're going to have a strikeout. Carlton continuing is like 1 per inning. That's his 4th, and we're here in the 4th. So now you see how it flipped. We got a 4 and a 53. Another strikeout, this time with Robinson on his card. 2 down. 5th strikeout for Steve Carlton. And now we got a 4 for Madlock, a 78. He's an RN, F8. Ooh, we got an error. So now it's 0 to 20. So that means anybody. So an error on Maddox. So what we look at next is the error type. In this case, the error on the outfielder is a 4. You can also flip this. I like to flip it because I identified the error here. I don't want to pull the same error number as the error up here. So I flip it, and it's an error 4 still. So there's another chart you go off at, and it was, I think it was an F8, right? So, because it matters whether it was deep or not. F8, error 4, is he misplays the fly ball, a single plus error. Runners advance 2, batter to second base. So in this case, you got a base hit and an E8. Now, to get Madlock to second, you have to put him in. So you got RO, remember, runner 0 is the guy at home plate. If you want to move the runner first, it's a 1, 2 for second, 3 for third. So we want to move him one additional base. Automatically got on the single. The E8 moves him up one extra base. So you should see Madlock here move to second. Again, all these are available on the Digital Diamond board companion. And you know what? I can show it right after this. So let's hit OK. Madlock moves to second. That companion that I was talking about is right here, board game commands. If you click on this off camera, and I'll bring it over here and see if it should come over. It'll bring up, because I have two monitors, it brings up, come on over here. There we go. So this is the digital Diamond companion. And these are where you're going to get all your commands. So if you're looking for something weird, Control F is your friend. And so if I wanted to look at how to do stolen bases, I put an SB, there's 17 references toward it. And here's all the different things that could possibly happen or that you could possibly put in to the system to make it work. So while you're playing the game, it's a great thing to have up off on another window. If you are lucky enough to have 2 or 3 monitors, keeping this up is really good to have. So you can go through it, or you print it out if you're one of those type of people who like to have that the guide right there. You can print it out and do it. It's and definitely recommend, if you've never played this Digital Diamond, that you print it out and read it, because knowing there's a lot of commands here, and this changes with each release. I believe we're on 13 at 13.23. This is a 13.5 version, and it gives you all the things that could possibly happen. Anyway, so let's get rid of that. We got Madlock on second. We got 2 outs and Lacey up, and you can see we got an air charged up there, right up here. Okay, so let's move on. We got a 12 for Lacey. He gets a 46 just in his out range. RN is a G5A, no air. If I put in G5A, it would advance Madlock to third if there were less than 2 outs. Automatically advance him, regardless of what his ratings are. With 2 outs, it didn't matter. It's just another FYI. I could put it in G5 and it would not change the output, the outcome of that. All right, so now we got Bob Boone at the plate as we head into the bottom of the 4th. We got an 8. We got a 13. Ooh, boom. Maybe this is why he's not hitting so well. That card is not good. Bob hit that year, 211. Jeez. All right, but anyway, that 13 is a double into right field. So Boone's on with a double. It went to center because I didn't tell it to go to right. Doesn't matter. Clutch defense coming up. Okay, so we're looking at the pitcher is Carlton. Now, this is another reason why I love this, because it brings in the old sacrifice piece here. And I am going to see if I can sacrifice Boone over to third, even though he's an OBRE. This is dangerous. And he's a CC. So AA, BB, CC, DD, EE are sacrifice ratings. And again, there's a chart for this off camera. I've got it all covered up. Okay, so we're going to, I'm sorry, there's no EE on sacrifice. It's only AA to DD. And there's nothing in between. So it's AA, BB, CC, DD. That's it. So we're going to look at an RN number and see if Carlton can get him over. And so flip, and it's a 13. That's good. Lower number is better. So a 13 is, for a CC, is sacrifice, runner, advance, and batters out 1-4. So we put in sacrifice hit 1-4. And that will move Boone to third. And we have 1 out with a runner on third. So we got a 7 for Smith and a 21. He's going to get a base hit into right field to score the runner. So Smith, Lonnie Smith is got the base hit there, and Lonnie's on with an AA minus. And so I think we tried to steal him before, did we not? Let's look. Lonnie, did you get caught beginning of the game? My brain's already gone. Right? No, I guess we didn't. So I'm going to try and steal Lonnie. Oh, we tried to steal Marino. That's what it was. All right, let's try and steal Lonnie with an A minus. So we're going to flip the card. It's a 44. He's an A minus of camera, a 44. Okay, this is a great one. So for again, one of the things that can happen is a caught stealing with a potential error. So Nakosha got the ball there on time, but did the second baseman or shortstop make the catch? Any of you guys have ever played baseball before know that since Pete's batting right-handed, the second baseman would cover because it's a line of sight thing. So the shortstop wouldn't cover here. If he was left, the shortstop covers. So the defensive setup, if Bear is way over here because they're in some kind of fielding change, it could be fully, but that's how I play it. I'm a former catcher. So anyway, so Dale Berra is who we're looking at for potential error. He may have dropped the perfect throw or the throw to get him. So we're going to look at the error to 2-20, and he did. So if I want to show you this real quick. Let's go back to those board game commands again real quick. I'm going to bring this over. I'm just going to make this a really long video, but I think it's worth it. Right? Because it's an odd one, right? I just had this the other day. So I had to actually go to this. So we do Control F, let's look at stolen base, and you'll see on here the stolen base R1, so get the runner, is safe, but we want this one here. In this case, it's an E4 instead of an E6. It's an error by the shortstop fielding the throw. Player ruled a caught stealing and the runner safe at second on the error. Runners advance. Runners take two bases on the error and you run score. So basically, he is safe on the air, and it's due to Berra dropping the ball. So what we do, as it was said, I know it sounds like you're giving him a stolen base by doing SB, but you're just telling the engine it was a stolen base opportunity. And so we're going to look at the R1, and then we're going to do E6. If I wanted to say he got an extra base, let's say it's the catcher on a throwing error, you would put E2, and you could put that little dash, and he would move to third, little asterisk. In this case, it's just an E6 drop ball. Oop. Did I forget R1? It's P, R1, E6. What am I doing wrong? Dang it. What am I doing wrong? Oh, I forgot the S for safe. Okay. That's what I'm doing wrong. SB, R1, safe because of E6. Feel like being a programmer sometimes. And it tells you right in the end here, score that a caught stealing and a safe on the air. So your brain tells you SB safe, stolen base, but that's just how the engine works. So you'll learn to code that correctly, if you will. So now I got Lonnie Smith on due to Berra's error. So I got an error up there now. All right, so we move on. And Pete's up, gets an 11 and a 23. Pete's got a base hit to center, and the runner's going to automatically score. Runner on second goes two bases. So we got again, that pitch comes up because we had an event in between the stolen base or caught stealing error. So here we got base hit. Again, you can put the fielder, base hit to center field, but I just put in the two dots to show Rose got the base hit, Smith scores. And boom, it did center field anyway. All right, so now we got a 6-0 game going on here. And here's Schmidt. I think at 6 in the fourth, it's time to put the Candyman in the showers. So let's take a look at our relief options. One of the things I do, and I'm doing this off camera, again, off in another window, is I always have baseball reference up in the game. I like to use the same relievers that were used in that game. Um, but sometimes, it matters on what the score is, all that. You guys know baseball. And in this case, the Phillies did beat the Pirates 5-1 in real life. Candelaria happened to go 6 innings, 11 hits. Gary's not even going to make six. And then they brought in Eddie Solomon. So I think I'll bring in Solomon as well. One thing I like about this, that I like about Digital Diamond, is it kind of keeps some realistic pitching for you. Um, pit, Pitching stamina for you. And I've talked to other guys who love this as well and incorporate this into their replays. This is where we go off of a replay, trying to be a replica versus a replay. Yes, I can bring in Solomon just like they did, and I'm going to, but I could also go somewhere else, and I might go somewhere else. Let's just say they brought in Grant Jackson. Well, Jackson is still a little bit tired. You can see his 17-2 there means that he'll come into the game with, and I'm putting this in air quotes. I think I still have myself up on screen, but with already 2 pitches thrown, which means he's just a little bit tired from his last outing still. So I love that. So that tells me as a manager, because this is supposed to be your bench coach, you lean over and say, what's our bullpen look like? So it's like your pitching coach, really. And he's telling you, well, Jackson's a little tired. Here's your starters coming up, so you don't want to use any of these, really. But here's the rest of the bullpen that's available. And in this case, Solomon's not pitching coming up as a starter because he can start. And as a relief pitcher, he goes about 33 pitches. So, and right now you can tell he's not pitching well. The 20.25 ERA. But we're going to bring him in anyway. It's early in the season. Now, where do we play him? If I'm on an American League game, I just put him in as pitcher, okay, because he's not in the lineup. In a National League game, I have to figure out if I want to put him in 9 at Candelaria's spot, or do I want to do the old double switcher, which I do a lot, to try and stay realistic once again. So what I'm going to do, not just because I'm trying to show stuff on camera here, but I would have probably done this in the game. I'm going to take Lee Lacy out. It tells you Dale Berra, you can see the highlight on there, hopefully, is who's coming up next inning. So Candelaria would do up 3, and I would have to let Solomon pitch here and then take him out because I'd probably go with a pitch hitter. So I'm going to put him in to Lee Lacy's place at 6. And now I'm going to need a left fielder to go into Candelaria's spot. So I'm going to go to the bench. And I've got options in left field. I can bring in Gary Alexander. I can bring in Mike Easler. I can bring in John Milner. These are my left fielders. So in this case, we got Carlton on the mound still pitching well. Do I want to bring in Easler, a lefty versus lefty? Do I want to give Gary Alexander some playing time? Or Milner some playing time? Again, lefty. I'm going to go with Alexander, not because he's got a great last name, but because he hadn't played yet this year, and he's a right-hander. So I'm going to pop him in at 9. And you'll see that they put him in his primary position, first base, which is okay. I'm going to click on him and put him in left field. There you go. So Alexander's in, Solomon's batting 6th. And you'll notice, if you didn't look over here, that OK button was grayed out. You didn't have the ability to do it because I didn't have a valid lineup in. Now that I do, I can hit the OK button. So I will. There you go. So Rose is on, Solomon's on the mound, and you'll see Alexander's out in left field. So we got and you'll see Eddie Solomon's now the pitcher, and they get brought in his card. All right, so we'll continue on with Mike Schmidt at the plate, and it's a 9. It's going to be on Schmidt's card, a 73, and he walked in. So here comes Gary Matthews. And, we get a Z. A Z is the unusual plays. There are 3 different types. There is just regular unusual plays, that goes up to 38. And then if you draw a 41 to 64, you're going to be in fielding chart plays. And if you draw a 65 to 88, you're going to be on an injury chart. Now, I do as played, so I don't do injuries. However, I take them out for the game. So if this does end up as an injury, the player will come out. All right, so let's see what we got. We get a new RN number of 61. That throws us into the fielding chart. So we're going to draw another RN. I've got fielding chart up, and let's see what we got happening here. And again, these are generally something really unusual. Usually 37, right? Yep, 37. The second baseman gets turned around chasing a pop-up, which pops off his glove. A CD 3, 4, or 5, which Berra is not, catches the ball before it hits the ground. So we got this guy bobbling the ball. Getting ready to be on This Week in Baseball. Before it hits the ground, and doubles off the lead runner. So that's pretty cool. He could have got Rose if he was a 3 because we had 1 out. That would have been a double play. But he's not. Otherwise, the ball hits the ground. A single with the runners advancing 1 base. So you can see Rose couldn't score because he was waiting to see if Berra was going to make that grab. So we got just basically a single here out of that. But it's kind of cool to see what happened there. And Matthews continues his tear. He's 6 for 11 now. So now we got Trio at the plate. And Manny's got a 9 and an 82. So he will be out. RN GX1. This is where the X is going to matter. Got less than 2 outs and runners on base. And what I love about this is the game does it for you. You put in the GX1, it's going to get Matthews at second. I know that. Oh, it did the double play. It did the double play because of the OBR, it would gather. So we did have a double play. So again, I don't have to look up all the charts to figure that out. Who was safe, who was out. It did it for me, which I love. So it was it was ground ball back to Solomon, who threw to the catcher, Nakosha. So boy, I used to be able to say that back in the day. I know that C is like silent or an S. Nakosha. Anyway, I'm going way off on that tangent just to get this guy's name right. And then he fired to Robinson. So we had a 1, 2, 3 double play. And that's what the chart would have showed on a GX1, but I didn't have to look all that up. Anyway, we're going to the bottom of top of the 5th, and it's 6-0 Philly, really looking for that first win. It does not take this long to play a game. I could have probably played 3 games in the time I've done this on air, but I'm trying to show you a lot of stuff. So that's why this is taking so long. So for any of you who are like, oh my God, this baseball game takes forever, you can do this in 10 minutes, 10, 15 max. I'm just taking time to show a lot of stuff and talk things out. So let's continue on after I get a drink of coffee because I can hear the throat going with this flu. All right, moving on. We got Berra at the plate with a 10 and an 85. He's out. RN F6 and no air. Ooh, it's really close. So, bobbles that, but makes the grab. 1 away here in the 5th. And here comes Nakosha. I'm going to have to look that up. I know that as soon as I hear it, I'm going to go, that's how you say it. 56 RN FD7, no air. Again, I'm just going to put an F7. Matthews takes it down, 2 down. Carlton continues pitching great. So Alexander at the plate, his first appearance of the year, a 4 and a 64, is going to get him an RN GX6, no air. And that is the Pirates here in the 5th. And here comes Maddox, gets an 11 and a 33 deep. Okay, this is fun. You have to make sure you download I'm going to bring it up on camera, bring it over. Okay, they're going to give you, when you buy the game, when you buy the Status Pro version of the year you're using, Status Pro Advanced, you will get the cards. So if you want to print them out and play with them, you can. But what's important on this, I noticed, is you need the team card because it has the deep fly situation. Also, if you're not doing as played, it has a pitcher stuff roll that you can roll before the game, and it gives you some cool information. So, if Derek happens to be listening, as a a suggestion for the advanced game, or for this, so that you can just play on the PC. I would love to have a PDF file of just this so I could print them out and have just that, because I put them on nice cardstock, and print out just the managers. But or the team card. I don't want to print out every card. I just wanted I keep calling it the manager's card because it does show you the manager. Anyway, I'm going way off on tangents here. Let's take a look at the Phillies, because we are in Veterans Stadium, and you'll see here's the Veterans Stadium card. And so this is our deep fly. So I'm going to take that back off camera real quick. And so Maddox has got himself a deep fly. We're going to get an RN. It's an 18. Oops. I lost my. There we go. Come on. There we go. What do we have? An 18? 18. So we look at the card. 11 to 58 is a home run. So it gives you what other things could have been: a triple, double, DF, deep fly, out. So he gets the home run. So out of here is a solo home run for Gary Maddox. It is his second of the year. You can see he's had one already. 2 for 2. This makes him 3 for 3 on the day. Smacks it out of here. Only had 5 that year. Remembering this is the strike season, so you're not going to see more than about 360 at bats, 70 at bats maybe. And so he missed out on at least 100, 150, even 200 at bats. Could have had a lot more. But anyway, I'm digressing again. Home run, Gary Maddox, 7-0 now for the Phillies. Not taking Solomon out yet, even though he's getting beat up here a little bit. Here's Boa with a 5 and a 47. Is an out. LN, FD8 hits one deep to center, tracked down by Marino. One away. And here's Boone. 1 for 9 so far. He had got a double earlier and walked. So got a 6 and a 74. RN, F3. Oop, I gotta check for an error. 5 to 20. Oops. So if you do this like I did, I got the first baseman covered here, and I can't tell if he's a 5 to 20. Take this out of here. Just hit OK. It'll take that off the screen. Nothing happens. He's an E0. I'm good. Go back to swing. And we have the F3. 2 down. Bring up the pitcher Carlton. Already had a good day batting as well as he's throwing a shutout. Gets a 2 and a 36. He's out. Pitcher G3. And again, he's an E0, so no error. And we will head to the 6th inning with a 7-0 blowout here by the Phillies. So we got a 10 for Marino, 78. He's an LN, G1A. Hopefully you're following. I'll go a little faster here now to move through the game. We got a 9, 58, and RN, L5, no error. Schmidt. 2 down, and here's Parker with 5, 74, LN, G5, no error. So you can see how this can go a lot faster. All right. I am going to go ahead and take Solomon out here. It's pitched enough. We're here in the 6th. So we're going to go to the pen. Robinson's coming up. Solomon's in the 6th slot. I'm not going to take out Dave Parker. I could take out Foley. Let's see what's on our bench before I do make this call here. You have Vance who can play short. Let's do that. All right. So I'm going to go to the bullpen here. And I'm going to bring in, let's see who's coming up. You can see down here who's up. It's the top of the order with basically 3 righties, although Rose can flip. And then righty. So we need a right-hander probably here. Let's go with Romo. So Romo's going to go in the number 2 slot for Foley, because I like to play around with National League teams. And then we're going to go Vance Law into the 6th slot. and flip him over. Again, you can see the OK. Still, I can't do anything yet. I can't go back to the game because I don't have a valid lineup. I'm going to flip Vance here to shortstop. And you'll see the OK. Good. So I'm good. All right. So we got Romo in, Law in at short, and Lonnie Smith to the plate, and the 7-0 blowout. So we got a 6 and an 86. We got an RN, G6, nowhere. We test Law right away. He's an E0, by the way, and a CD4. Pretty good shortstop. 7 and a 15. There's a base hit and left field for Pete Rose. Rose hitting great. Now up over 400 early here in the year. So we got an 11 for Schmidt and an 85 RP G4A. So again, this is why it's important to put the A in because that'll move Rose to second and Schmidt out at first on the ground out to Bear. Now we got 2 down now for Matthews. We got clutch defense. He's an RN. Our clutch defense is our right fielder. Parker is only a 1. It's a 17. Let's see what he did. 17 on a 1. Great catch of a line drive. So L9 at the Parker ends the inning, saving a run. And we'll go here. Carl doing well. 76 pitches, got his ERA down to 5.06 here with the 6-inning shutout that he's done so far. Here's Bill Robinson with a 10, 68. RN, F9. No problem for Lonnie. 1 away. Got a clutch defense call here. RN. It's going to be the left fielder. Matthews is a 1. We got an 83. 83 for a 1 in the outfield. Deep fly off the wall. Fielder gets the ball quickly. If he's a T4 to T6, which he is, you look up at Matthews, you'll see he's a T4. He holds him to a single. Other runners get a double. So base hit for Madlock. He'll hold. Down 7-0. Not going to get himself thrown out. Only the 3rd hit of the day off the Carlton. And here's Vance Law. Normally I'd sacrifice here with an AA. You're down 7-0. We're not sacrificing. A 4 and a 48. Walked him. So the first trouble here for Steve. 2 on, 1 out. And here comes Berra. Berra gets a 7. 77. He's out. RN. A GX4. No error on trio, so should have runners on the corners. Here we're 2 out. Yep. And so now we got Stevie. He gets an 11 and a 72. He's out. RN lines one back to Carlton and an E5. He's an E0. He grabs that. Carlton grabs it, throws it down, ends the inning. Probably hands it to Pete and let him fire it off the carpet, right? All right, bottom of the 7th. BD, we do not use this without runners on. So we flip to the next card. We got a 7 for Trio and a 32. Trio with a double into left field. First hit of the game for him. His first double of the year. He was 1 for 16 going into that at bat. Here's Maddox. He gets a 6 and a 65. We got an out. RN G5. No air. So put in the G5, which Trio will hold at second. And we got Boa up. I got to keep an eye on Romo here. That's why I kind of stopped there for a second. He's at 19 pitches. I'm going to keep him going, see if he can get Boa here. Get a 12. 32. That's trouble. Base hit into right field. We look at the base hit into right field. Runner in first goes 1 base. Runner in second scores 2 bases. So Boa with an RBI single. His first RBI of the season. 2 for 4 today now for Larry. And here's that red. You can see it around Romo now. He's tired. He's right there near his pitch count. And so we're going to go ahead and flip him out of here. So Romo out. What do we got coming up here? We got Boone, the right-hander, and then the pitcher. So we will go with Don Robinson into the game. And where's my pitcher at? He's at 2. All right, so we're going to pitch to Boone. I could walk him and then face Carlton, but Carlton's already had a good day. And we'll face Boone, who's 1 for 10 this season. We get a 6 off of his card, though. 53, got him out. RN, G5A. 10 to 20, Madlock does not. It was a G5A. So the runner will head to second. 2 down. And here's Carlton. And 11 and 31, Carlton strikes out. So I had us to the 8th inning now, 8-0. And Gary Alexander up. So for one, grounded out to short last time up. Gets a 42 here, and he will strike out. Carlton hasn't struck anybody out a bit, I don't believe. That's his 6th K here. Here's Marino with an 8, 47. He'll strike out. So throw him some heat now. It's up to 97 pitches, 2 down. You can see the orange around him now. He's getting a little tired. He's done 97 of 121. He's throwing a shutout. He's not moving. We get a 10, 15. That's going to be a base hit to center field. Oh, wait a minute. See, this is where I make mistakes sometimes. No way Robinson would have batted. I'm glad I don't catch it sometimes. I get the CHP. So for me, I take him out because I'm going to be realistic here. So we're going to pinch hit for Robinson. And we're going to let our lefty stay down. Kurt Bavakwa had 0 appearance, so he just played some defense. Oh, no, this is what's going on this year. Wake up, wake up, wake up. So Bavakwa will come in and pinch hit. And so Kurt had 27 at-bats that year. So Kurt Bavakwa in, and let's see what happens. So I start over. I know I had a base hit there. But I try to play realistic here. So we got an 8 and a 54. That is going to be a walk to Kurt. Got a pitch because we had a pinch hitter. Carlton walked his 4th in the game. Struck out 7 and walked 4th, giving up 3 hits. Here's Parker. He gets a clutch defense. It's going to be LN, which is the center fielder, an FD8 though. So this one's deep to center. And we got a 22 on a T. He's a 4. It's a 4 out there. 22. There we go. Great catch of a sinking line drive and runner's hold. So it wouldn't matter because it was the end of the inning. So Maddox keeps the shutout alive for Carlton. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th. And you'll see, because I pinched hit for Robinson, you'll see the blinking red. If I try and do anything, you notice all this is out. All gray. It's letting me know, I love this, letting me know something's wrong. And the blinking over here tells me what's wrong. I need to replace my pitcher. So we're going to go to the pitching. And I know it's 10-0. Well, who do we have coming up here? Back to the top of the order again. I'm going to bring in Tecove. I know they would probably never do this in that score of a game, but don't have a lot of options. I'm not bringing in Bibby, he's a starter. In fact, he's throwing the next game. I already used Don Robinson. Shouldn't have. I just noticed he's coming up pitching. And so my real opportunity here is I can use a tired Grant Jackson or Rod Scurry, a lefty. So I'm going to go to Colby and put him in at 2. Bavak with a pinch hitter. Okay. And there we go. All right, so we got a 10 and a 45. That's a walk. Ronnie Smith is not going to try and steal up 8-0. And here's Pete. He gets a 3 on his card, 37. He walks him. So Kent, hello, you're supposed to be pitching, dude. Not walking people. Here's Schmidt, a 9, 43. Struck him out. I thought I might have the long ball there. It's close. So down goes Schmidt, 1 away. And here's Matthews, a 6 and a 25. There's that double play ball. So he's right-handed, so it'll go to the shortstop. Over to Law. Berra, Robinson, end of inning. We go to the ninth. So Carlton's still tired, but he's throwing a shutout. He's not red. He's staying in. This is where, in a blowout, I try and get some guys some plate appearances as well. Now, Robinson is a right-hander against a lefty. I'm going to leave him in and let him hit because he's only had 3 at-bats this year. So sometimes I try and make a change here, but we're going to let him hit. I'm probably going to let all 3 of these guys hit. So I just kind of contradicted everything I just said. So Robinson gets a 6 and a 34. He goes deep. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. I'm looking at the wrong card. We stayed on Carlton's card. It would have been deep had we gone over here, but a 34 is a strikeout. So we had to go over to Carlton's card. He gets his 8th strikeout of the game. And now Madlock up 7 over here, 77. And RN, G5, no error. So Schmidt, no problem with it. 2 down and 1 guy left before Carlton gets a shutout. Nice rebound for Steve after a horrible first game. Vance Law to the plate. Let's go ahead and pinch hit for Vance. I know he hasn't had any plate appearances, but I'm going to try something because it looks like, and for some reason, weirdly enough, Carlton's not good against left-handers. So let's give Willie Stargell a plate appearance here. Yeah, it drops him down to a 4.7. So we got a 6. Still got in his range anyway. And a 58. Oh, he walked him. So we got the pitch, we got the walk, and of course, Stargell's not going to be the runner. So what you do is you go down here to Stargell and you pinch run. And you can go up here and use ratings. I use the Statis Pro ratings because that's what matters. And look at your OBR, not so much your speed, your OBR. And you pick one of these guys. Again, A best, E worst. Tony Pena, funny enough, and him and Easler and Milner are the best runners. I'll let Pena run for him. So Pena will be the runner. Carlton's now red, but I'm sticking with him because I think the coach would too. Here's Berra. Let's pinch hit for Berra. And let's use Jason. This guy always does good for me in my replays. So let's put Thompson and see what happens here. He gets a 10. It's going to be on his card. And a 76. Not going to do well here. Oh, he is. He walks. Wow. Look at that card against lefties. Oh, he's either striking out or getting on. So the pitch is a walk, and Carlton's making it as hard as he can on himself here in the bottom of the 9th. Here's Nicosia. I'm going to pinch it for him. We're going to go with John Milner. No, we're not. No, we're not. We're going to go with the hitman, Easler. So Easler going to get a shot. He gets a 9 on his card. It's a 68. Oh, he's going to get his shutout unless there's an error. F7, Matthews. Oh, we got an error. 2-20. It's an E4. So now I got to look at the air type. It's a 5 on an F7. It's a single to left field and a bad throw to the infield. Oh, there goes the shutout on the last batter. So we got a base hit, an E7, R2 goes home, so 2 bases. And then we got R1 go 2 bases, and R0, which is the batter, will go 1 extra base because it knows you got 1 base out of that. So that's how that works. So we got a base hit, error on Matthews. Carlton will be talking to him later. So we're going to score Pena. Runner on first is going to go to third, and the batter Easler is going to go to second. There we go, second and third, and it's 8-1, and he really pissed off Steve Carlton right now. And here's Gary Alexander. I don't think I have anybody left to pinch yet. I do, Milner. So I will. Let's empty the bench. It's not like we're going to be playing a 10th inning unless something major happens here with 2 outs. You never know. So Milner to the plate. He gets an 11 at 18, but he's out. Milner did not hit lefties at all. Oh, Good coach would have looked at that. I didn't. Oh well. LN FD8. Is Maddox going to air this out? No, he's not. That's going to finally end the game. And Steve Carlton and Gary Matthews will have a discussion in the locker room. So that ends at 8-1. So let me show you some things you do now that the game is over. All right. So we're going to go. First thing you're going to do is go menu and save and exit. It's going to make sure you want to do that. I do. Can take you back to your regular screen. Can't talk. Oh man, I need some more Dayquil. All right, couple things you'll notice on the screen here. Carlton gets his 9-inning, 4-hit, 1-run game thanks to Gary Matthews. And then it gives you a player of the game. You can change this style. There's 2 styles. It's an overall look at the box score by Digital Diamond and decide who the player of the game was here. Decided it was Lonnie Smith, 2 for 4, 3 RBIs and a run. You can also make it the clutch batter of the game. So if you had a 7-6 game and in the bottom of the 9th, somebody had a 2-run single, but he was 1 for 4. Somebody else was 4 for 4. It would make that guy who had the clutch hit the player of the game, which on a broadcast, he might get it. Now, another thing you could do is go to the box score and take a look at a lot here. AI does what I would say is kind of a crappy, I'm sorry, I'm just being honest, a crappy review. You can edit it and say whatever you want here, but AI gives you a little review. You have a newspaper box score. I'm not a super fan of this, but it shows that old style newspaper box score, which, depending on what you like, it's there. Extended one's the one I like. Looks a little nicer, with a little nicer format. You can see 8-1. You can see all the stuff that happened in here and all those pinch hitters I used. Your box score, basically. And so if I wanted to look at this and say, well, Gary Maddox went 3 for 4, had a home run. Lonnie had 3 RBIs, yeah. But just to show you how this works, let's say I decided I wanted Maddox as my player of the game, or I could say I want Steve Carlton. Let's do that. I really think Steve Carlton was the player of the game here, even though he walked 6 batters. Let's just say, again, for purposes of me wanting to show you this, it also has the fielding on here as well. So, oops, I want to show you a couple more things on that. You also have a scorecard, which is your old style scorecard. Kind of nice. Only thing I don't like about the scorecard is I wish it would still have the pitching stats here. Because if I wanted to cut and paste this into and show it on social media or whatever, you don't have the pitching stuff here. So I have to do this plus something else. So I wish that this had the pitching stats, but it does not. Play-by-play is just as it says. Here's your play-by-play. And so here's all the stuff that happened. Scoring plays, as it says, here's all the scoring plays, what happened throughout the game. So that's all here. You can export all this into a drive. So if you wanted to get the stuff and put it into AI or something and do more with it, you could. And that's what you have along here. So more things that you have on the screen. You'll notice a star here. You can set these to a degree as to what you want that makes it a starred game. In this case, it's Carlton throwing a complete game. I believe a shutout's on here. And if you look here, you got the no-hitter by John, the complete game by John. Sorry, keep getting my phone ringing here. Mumphrey had driven 6 runs in this game. I mean, he had a grand slam. So there's different things that can star a game. And that's what those are for. This is to download. So the whole thing has been now exported to the folder. If I wanted that, you could undo this and replay the game. I've never done that before, but you could. Gives you your line. Now, to go back to Lonnie Smith, let's say we didn't want Lonnie Smith as the player of the game. We wanted Steve Carlton. You click on Lonnie and you type in Steve Carlton. Hit OK. It tells you, don't forget to edit that game summary that I don't edit. But the player of the game has changed, and you'll notice Steve Carlton's now our player of the game as well as our winning pitcher. This is always the winning pitcher, or the pitchers coming up. But this is the winning pitcher, and then this is the player of the game. Sometimes it's the same person. John threw a no-hitter, so he's the player of the game of both. Up here, Stanley got the win in relief. Dave Stapleton had a 3-home-run game. Amazing game here. And 7 RBIs. So he's the player of the game. So same thing here. Don Baylor, Hassler, and Ahar pitched 1 inning and got a win. Danny Heath got the player of the game. So anyway, so that's basically how Diamond Mine works. I'll probably do another video getting deeper into reports, getting into more things you can do with this overall, but I wanted to at least show an entire game front to back and how I do it. So any questions, leave me notes. Otherwise, hope we all have a great day.